Good morning again. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an update of what happened last night and a few of the things that we found out while we've been out on the streets. So last night we went to a meeting that included a Washoe County representative from District 1, Washoe County Commissioner meeting. And I want to throw out a few of the numbers that they presented to her last night, just for some of the numbers that kind of caught my attention, just for your own education. I don't know how the accuracy of these numbers. I don't have any reason not to trust them, but I just wanted to show you, or to illustrate the magnitude of the problem of homelessness in our city. They said that the average rent in a downtown apartment, a downtown by the week or by the month hotel room, has escalated to $1,200 a month. That's staggering for these people. They said that only 2% of the available apartments in Reno, Nevada are unoccupied. So that means we have a 98% fill rate on our apartments. Those two problems alone kind of define this entire problem. There's very little housing available, and what is available is priced beyond their possible reach. We've talked to people who they only make $900 Social Security, and their rent is $750. That leaves them $150 to buy everything they need, including food, for the entire month. And then on top of that, their rent was raised to $985. So he can't possibly afford to live where he's living, and he's a veteran, he's disabled, and he doesn't know how he can get around this problem. I have to admit that there were many different churches that were represented last night at the meeting. There was Lutherans, there was Episcopalian, there was Methodist, there was Catholics, there was it seemed like every different denomination. And it was really kind of cool, because this problem doesn't affect just one religion. This problem affects every faith. This problem affects Mormons, and this problem affects Catholics, this problem affects Jews, this problem affects every possible faith. And so it was heartwarming to see every faith coming together, trying to find some solutions to this problem. And here's what happened last night. They presented the county commissioner. They presented her with a couple of proposals, and she did just exactly what I thought would happen, and that is, she said, we understand the problem. She seemed very empathetic, and at times she seemed truly, genuinely concerned. But her ultimate answer was, we're going to study this. I have a problem with that, because the men and women who are stuck down on 4th and Record Street don't need another study. They don't need a month after month after month of analysis and trying to figure things out. They need results. They need tangible, positive changes. And there are some things that we can do. So I want to tell you about another incident that happened yesterday. Sorry, my hand was getting tired. I needed to switch hands. I want to tell you about something else that happened yesterday. This has been not only an immersion into the homeless way of living, but it's also been an opportunity for us to talk to the men and women who are homeless. But we've also targeted and have reached a couple of the officials, the people who can make a difference. And I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to tell you who it was we talked to, but we talked to a man yesterday who was very influential, especially in running the men's and women's shelter and the family shelter. And so 2 days ago, I don't know if you're familiar with the city of Reno, especially the 4th and Record area, but a couple of days ago, there's one area that's on 4th and Record that's called The Pit. And what it is it's a small area, probably, I would guess, 50 feet by 75 feet. And it's chained off, and it's cordoned off, and it's fenced around, And it's the one place in our city where the homeless people can go without being hassled by the cops. They can go there during the day. There's some shade. They can hang out because we don't allow them on our streets. We don't allow them in our stores. We don't want them sitting on the sidewalks of our city because it's a tourist city, and I get that. So the city has designated one area on 4th and Record called the Pit, and they're allowed to go there without fear of being run off by the cops. 2 days ago, the Pit was locked up, and there was a sign out front that said it was going to be closed for cleaning for the 30th and 31st of July. So I went there yesterday because now it's no longer the 30th or 31st of July. It should be open, right? It wasn't. It was still locked. And I happened to see the man who is in charge of that area. It was the first time I've ever met him, and although I've wanted to meet him for quite some time, I actually was able to yesterday. And so I walked up and identified who I was and what I was doing. And I said, "So how long is the Pit going to be closed?" And his answer was, "It's going to be closed indefinitely." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because there's a lot of fights, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of violence in this area, and we just don't have the staffing to handle it, to manage it, to patrol it, to clean this area up." I get that. And so my next question is, so what are these men and women supposed to do? Where are they supposed to go? And his answer really shocked me. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, "I don't care. They can go on the streets, they can go in the parks, but they're not going to be here." I don't get that. I don't get that because these men and women need a place to go. And I understand that, you see, what Angelo and I are finding out is this problem of homelessness is far, far more complex than what we ever imagined. It's like an onion. There are so many different layers that you have to peel back. There's mental illness issues that have to be dealt with. There is a desperate need for social workers and for psychological help for these people to deal, and physical help and medical help to deal with some of these mental health and physical issues. I get that. I'm not even going to come close to being able to solve that one. There's funding issues that have to be addressed. I understand that these agencies are horribly underfunded and horribly understaffed. They don't pay well. They're continually dying for people to step up and help them out. And then again, there's a lack of funding for almost every level. There's no escaping the reality that this is in fact a funding issue. It has to be prioritized in our governments, in our churches, in our giving. There has to be priority to funding a solution. And like I said, the more we get into this, the more we realize this isn't an easy problem. There's no quick and easy solution. But I think it's solvable. I think that there's things that we can do. We're never going to end homelessness. The Bible tells us that the poor will always be with us. And I truly believe that. But I think that a lot of these men and women would be greatly served if we reprioritize how we regard and how we spend and how we manage our tax dollars. If we're serious about wanting to make a change in our homeless community, we have got to come together as a community and establish some funding. And that may, you know, they threw around this really nasty word last night at the Washoe County Commissioners meeting, and that is taxes. We don't like that idea, but that may be what it comes down to. There's got to be funding to be available to build houses, to build affordable places for that people can live. I saw a couple of news segments on a small home community up in Seattle, and it was working. It cost them about $2,000 to build a 9 by 12 unit, and it wasn't great. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't like these small homes that you see on TV that are all fancy. These were just very simple, plain, ordinary, small homes. They were built by high school students, which gave them a sense of accomplishment, of building something that people can actually use. And so the high schools got involved as building these amazing little homes. And then the people, these were to be used for transitional housing, 6 months, 12 months at the most. And the people that lived in these communities took responsibility to clean it, to patrol it, to keep it maintained. They had a 6-month lease, basically, either 6 months or 1 year, and this was not a permanent solution for them. They had to go in understanding that this was a temporary solution, and it's been in effect for some time in Seattle, and it works. And a couple of our city officials went up there and toured this and came back over a year ago, and they were on fire for this idea. They're like, this is great. This is gonna happen in Reno. And so I asked one of them who I spoke with yesterday, what happened to that idea? How come is it that a year later, nothing's happened? And he said, you know, the way that the city wanted to change it, it would have never worked here. They wouldn't allow it to be done the same way that it was done up there. And I don't know the implications of what they wanted to impose. I don't know the restrictions they wanted to put on it. But he said, let me tell you, the way that they had it rearranged, reconfigured, he said it would have never worked here. My friends, this isn't going to be an easy problem. This is going to be a tough time. And the problem that we are going to face is that we don't need more studies. We don't need more analysis. We don't need more bureaucracy and more layers of government and more kicking the can down the road. And that's essentially what it seems like everybody's doing. Agency after agency that we have talked to during this week is pointing their fingers somewhere else, saying there's nothing we can do. It's on them. I just couldn't help but picture Pontius Pilate as he was sentencing our Lord to be executed. Remember what he did? He took a bowl of water and he washed his hands of it. And I feel so many times that that's what's happening here. These agencies are washing their hands, saying we're going to let somebody else deal with it because we're either understaffed, we're underfunded, or we don't have the resources. I get that this is a money issue, but this is a people issue. And those men and women down there need more than just analysis and more than just studies. They need some real, tangible help. And so it's our hope, it's our prayer that this will be the beginning for us. Our week of homelessness ends on Sunday, but I got to tell you, the work is just beginning. Because this Sunday is when, Monday morning is when the hard work starts for us. I want to know a lot more. I want to know, first of all, I'm going to do a lot of looking into home prices, apartment prices, hotel prices, why they're going up, what we can do. I'm certainly not in favor of rent control, but are there chances of taking some existing structures and doing some remodeling? I know that I'm asking the question that has been asked probably hundreds of times before me, but I'm not content to just say, well, it's somebody else's problem. This is our problem. This is our city's problem. And it's our prayer that through this time on the streets, through our experiences, we can bring some clarity, we can bring some attention, we can bring some focus to this issue. We're going to have a Facebook Live session Saturday night, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here so we can answer your questions. And I hope you can hear me with the traffic, but I also want to invite you guys Sunday morning. Angelo's church at New Life Christian Center and my church are going to have a joint service at Angelo's church. The address is 6th and Spokane Street in Reno. If you're familiar with the Reno area, you know where the Ramada Inn is. His church is right across the street. He's got two services. He's got a service at 9 o'clock and a service at 11 o'clock. And he and I are both going to appear together and address the congregation about what we have discovered, and also have a period of question and answer there. So we encourage you, we invite you to come to that service. Whether you're a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. This is not a Christian problem. This is a human problem. And so we invite you to come to that service and let you hear from us exactly what we found. We found just amazing stories of strength, of survival, of creativity. We found some truly heartbreaking stories of people that are desperately stuck and need help. And like I said, this isn't going to be easy, folks. Make no mistake about it. There are so many different levels that this problem has to be attacked. But it's not enough to just simply kick the can down the road and do another study. We need some action. We hope that in the next several weeks and months that we can start being a catalyst for some of that action, that we can start inspiring people, leaders, to not just study it, but to do something. Anyway, I just want you to know how much we appreciate you guys, how much we appreciate your support and your prayers. And we've got another day and a half. God's going to use this time. I know He is. Thank you guys for your love, and God bless you. I'll try to do an update later tonight. You guys take care. God bless.